Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
May 2nd, 2025 at 5:32 p.m. First item of business is the approval of minutes. I'll need a motion on the draft minutes of the July 23rd, 2025 Finance Committee CIP presentations.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Jetzer. Comments or questions? All in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next, we'll need a motion on the draft minutes of the June 24th, 2025 Finance meeting.
I'll move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Lettuce. Comments or questions? All in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item is public appearances for non-agenda items. We do not have anyone in chambers, and everyone online is for agenda items. So we can move on to item 4, Finance Director Report. Misty.
Thank you. A couple of things. So CIP amendments were due yesterday. So our next council meeting is when we will be going through those amendments and then voting and adopting the CIP. The amendments themselves will be released to the mayor and council next week, Friday, and to the public the following Monday. So those will be available on the website. Budget worksheets were due today from department, so we're really getting into the hot part of getting that stuff all put together in first draft, hopefully available in the next month or so. And then a couple of their updates, the Innovation Fund grants, those applications were supposed to be available this month. However, there's some recent legislation that changed the program in favorable ways, so they are delaying that. So we'll just kind of stay on top of that to see if there's any programs that may not have been eligible under the old rules but might be eligible under the new rules. So it's something we'll keep watching. And then if you recall, you approved for the city to apply for a simplified rate case for our water utility rates. We got notified that we were denied. The 12 months that the rates have to be in effect for is a calendar year and not a rolling 12 months. So not that we weren't, it wasn't an important thing to do, but we were misunderstanding the timeline. So we'll file again early 2026, then basically redo the process. So that's all I have.
Thank you so much. Questions for Misty? We can move on. Oh, Bill?
No, so that rate case, that's no big deal. We'll just wait and go through the same exercise. And it's a January to December.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And so the old rates were in effect, I want to say in March. And so then rather than saying March to March, it has to be a calendar year that they're in effect. So yeah, we'll do basically the whole thing again about the same time, just next year.
Well, we can move on to the review of bills. First item 5A, detailed review of ACH payments for $10,000 and above from June 1 to 30, 2025, totaling $743,047.92. Questions? Moving on to 5B, detailed review of all ACH payments from June 1 to 30, 2025, totaling $747,998.84. Comments, questions? Moving on to detailed review of P-card transactions for $10,000 and above for the cycle ending June 6, 2025, totaling $123,310.77. Comments or questions? Then we can do the review of P-card transactions for the cycle ending June 6, 2025, totaling $256,668.06. Questions? Moving on to 5E, detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above from June 16 to July 15, 2025, totaling $1,984,303.68. Comments, questions? Bill?
I had one question. So there's a check number 128 and 911. $12,000 for tires. How many squad cars did we retire all at the same time?
I am not sure. I will find out and report
Okay.
back at our next meeting.
Chad might know.
Typically, the police department does an annual order once per year, so that is more than likely what had been done in this case. They buy a full year's worth of tires at one time.
Okay, so these weren't all replaced at the same
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Do we have like staff that does this? on
Yeah.
hand?
So typically, what they'll do is, and again, I'll preface it by saying that things may have changed, although I don't suspect that they have. They have summer tires, so to speak, and then winter all-season tires that they'll put on. So they have two different sets for each car, and our staff would take them. I don't know if our maintenance facility might be assisting with that these days. Otherwise, they'll take them to Kaiser Ford typically to have those put on.
All right. I wasn't sure if somebody sprinkled nails over the road or something. We had
No,
a whole
no.
bunch of cars.
Just the annual purchase.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. So we can move on to 5F, a detailed review of all checks issued, checks 128,849 to 129,003 from June 16 to July 15, 2025, totaling $2,209,566.61. Questions? All right, we can move on to item 6, action items. 6A, I'll need a motion on resolution R-11525, approval of professional design services for Kids Crossing at McKee Farms Park.
I'll move approval.
Motion approved by Alder Jetzer. And it looks like our acting Parks Director, Adam Sayre, is going to come here.
I'll be on.
Our Deputy Administrator, who is helpfully helping with
I've been
parks.
called interim, and I've been trying to correct people. I don't think I've been fully kind of appointed as interim or acting, so we'll stick with deputy city administrator.
Deputy City Administrator, yes.
Do you want me to do a quick update on this one?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is the design contract work for the Kids Crossing Playground at McKee Farms Park. So as part of this, they'll be redesigning that actual playground structure that's out there. So they'll do design work for it, they'll create the construction documents for it, and they'll also do the bidding as well and construction management when it's built. The intention is to design it this winter, bid it, and then build it next year. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And Parkitecture is the recommended consultant for this.
Questions from the committee? Micah?
Do you know, will they be in attendance at council when we talk about this? Or were they planning to be? Do you know?
I wasn't planning to have them there. Would you
Okay.
like me to reach out? There's a specific question?
No, but I mean, I can show up at the parks meeting or whatever when they go. My only one comment on this would just be, it'd be great when, I think they're going to have a few community events for things like this, just to like talk about it. So just, I mean, I think they'll be well attended if they are, so, yeah.
I know the first event they're going to be at is Community Night Out. That's in August. They're going to plan to attend that to kind of start getting feedback from people.
I think that's great. I think, like, I love when we go out to those events, and I think this would be the one where I actually think it would be a really good idea to have like a formal kind of city meeting, like come to us and talk, because I think it would be really well attended. I think people would be interested in doing it. So I'm going to like reverse my normal opinion and say like both of those would be good.
Yeah, and I'll pass that along to them. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I'll second that. Kids Crossing is so important to the community. This has to have community. But Bill and I have already gotten outreach from some constituents saying, when is this happening? We want to make sure that we're heard. So it's definitely going to be something that we're going to want public input. Bill?
Yeah, and I'll just note that you mentioned Parkitecture is the name of the consultant firm, and one of the people involved is Katie McDonald, who was on our Parks Commission for a number of years. So I think we should be in good hands with her and that firm.
Good. Anything else? Seeing nothing, we will take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R-11525, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next, I'll need a motion on Resolution R-11625, approving professional design and engineering services for Southdale Park.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Alder Lettice. Adam?
This is the professional design services with EOR to design Southdale. So there's a concept that's out there for the park. EOR will be kind of taking that concept and actually putting together the design documents, the engineering documents for it, and then ultimately assisting with the bidding of the project and also with the construction management of it. The intent is to get these documents completed this winter and once again bid them and then construct in 2026.
Questions?
Yeah, so the original timeline said have the engineering contract in place by mid-June, design completed by October. Where are we with the timeline now, given that it's beyond June?
Yeah, we're a couple months off of that now. So, I mean, you're looking at a winter completion of the construction documents, then a bid this winter, I'm guessing. I forget what's in the agreement off the top of my head, but I want to say it was a possible January, February bid. Bids open, we award the project, and it gets built. So we're off a little bit, but this is taking the concept that's out there. So the outreach has already kind of been done as part of that project. So it's more or less just putting the engineering documents together and the utility documents. The bigger challenge of this project, quite honestly, to be clear to the Finance Committee, I think it's going to be a challenge to build everything in that concept plan. I'm not sure we're going to have the dollars there, but that's a future conversation as we kind of look at construction estimates for this project, and we'll determine kind of what's feasible and what's not and what dollars, based on the dollars we have.
Okay. And so, given that we're a couple months off, it just said construction in 2026. That's still the target. Is the construction pushed back as well, or just the planning?
No, I mean, the construction is going to start in April. It depends on weather. I mean, no one's going to be out there in February or January as it is. So the target's always been once the frost comes out of the ground.
Okay.
And I think you already answered my question. We did like public engagement on this during the kind of visioning session, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
And then, so I was going to ask a ballpark estimate for the final project cost. Do we have any ideas at the moment?
No, that's something EOR is going to be helping us with. There was an estimate at one point. Part of it's going to depend on just the full scale of what we're looking at. There was a water feature in this, a spray feature. I believe there's a shelter. There's utilities associated with that as well. I mean, that's going to be one of the kind of initial conversations we've had of just looking at what is really feasible here, and then ultimately looking at how we design it. So there's, similar to McGaw, there may be a way you look at designing this but not building the entire project. And McGaw is an example because you have the pickleball courts being expanded, you have the electric being run to the poles, but you don't have poles being constructed there because we didn't have enough money. So there could be a situation where the utilities are set up that if there is ever money in the future, that you could look at doing it. So that's an option we can look at too.
And then, I guess off the top of your head, I know EOR has been involved in other projects in the city, just for the benefit of the public. Do you remember off the top of your head any projects that they've worked on?
They've done the work at the hub. They did the concepts for this park. They've done other park planning for us as well too. They recently did some park planning for the Hartung Park development, which is 2 agenda items after this. So they've done a lot of work in the city.
Okay.
Seeing nothing else, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R-11625, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on. Thank you so much, Adam. Moving on to I'll need a motion on Resolution R-11725, approval of a contract between the City of Fitchburg and Sustain Dane for the implementation of Phase 2, Project 2 of the Efficiency Navigator Program.
I'll move approval.
Motion approved by Alder Jetzer. And who's going to tackle this one? Joyce?
Hello. If you recall, we approved the contract for the Efficiency Navigator assessments, and now we're actually moving into the implementation of the kind of larger ticketed items. This had to do with a delay based on, we were hoping that we were going to get some additional funding through some of the Inflation Reduction Act and some rebates, but we did get some, however, probably not as much as what we anticipated. So that's what this is for. This is for, like I said, some of the larger ticket items. In your packet, you have it broke down by contractor and then also by project. So if you have any questions, and I will let you know that I'm going to be bringing forward a new request. We broke out the windows as a separate request due to the significant increase in the quotes that were coming back from the time that the assessment was done till the last round. So that will be a separate request.
Micah?
Yeah, so you mentioned looking at the Inflation Reduction Act program. Is that like the HERE program, like that does the rebates for heat pumps and things like that?
Yeah, so Sustain, Dane, and Elevate, they look at everything that's available out there from Focus on Energy, and we also applied with the City of Madison for some grants from, oh gosh, 2 different entities. But as you know, some of that money was allocated, however, we're not going to see it. So, Claire, do you have anything? Claire with Sustain Dane is also on. Maybe she can share some insight.
Hi, everyone. So we will be using Focus on Energy rebates that are still available. The Homes program and the HERE program are not going to be used for this work just because of the complications and the delay with and the uncertainty around the federal funding.
Is that because the landlords don't qualify, like they don't have income qualification, or because I know that program was one that was actually left alone in the budget, so it still does exist?
No, it's not. It's not because of that. It's because of going through the approval process and with the timing that we're working on, as well as concerns about what the future of that program looks like.
Okay.
Is it something that we can look at for the next phase? I mean, especially since these project costs keep going up. Is it, so if the program still exists, I mean, I know the federal funding is so confusing. I'm not going to now, but like, is it something that I understand that there's a risk of applying for something that then it does not exist, but I'm curious what the scale of the.
Yeah, and from my understanding, the money is allocated to Wisconsin first, and then so like Wisconsin has the money, and it is the landlord would have to qualify based on income. It's not the tenant, it's the landlord, so that I'm sure complicates things. But it is up to $8,000 per heat pump that they put in, or per location, I guess, that you're putting in. So it's a substantial rebate if you can take advantage of it in the future.
Yeah, so in kind of short way to think about it, the HERE program has to do with income qualifications. It has to do with percentage energy saved to get those rebates. And then homes, do I have that right? And then homes is like a point of sale opportunity. So, point of sale is still potentially there, but for multifamily, it was moving slower to get that in place and having contractors that are approved to do the work. So, we will certainly continue to work with our contractors and apply that if possible, but it is not part of this packet that you see in front of you.
Other questions? How many units are in the, so I see that we have the property addresses, but can you give me a sense of how many units are part of these?
Yeah, so the total project is 76 units in 10 buildings. This packet is applying to 44 units in 6 buildings.
And then we anticipate that the next package with windows, is that more work on the same 70 or 76 units into over 10 buildings and just like another phase of like the same group of projects?
Yep. Yeah, that is.
It is amazing how when you have to do upgrades, how expensive it is. And usually there's like a cascade of impacts, right? It's like, it's not just one weatherization issue. It's a ton, right?
Yeah, so we actually, when we got to the window quotes, we sat down as staff and discussed sustained A and gave us 3 options. One was to just replace the windows in one building. The second option was to just replace the windows in the front of the buildings. And then the third option was to replace all of the windows that were identified in all of the buildings. And as staff, we decided that replacing all the windows was the smartest and best option. In 2019, when we did do the housing plan, and the Housing Advisory Committee met, we ranked the needs in the city, and the number one need was to update our existing multifamily, the older units. So that's why we really felt that replacing all the windows should be a priority versus doing, I won't say what I want to say, but a partial job.
Micah.
When we made the choice to install heat pumps in these properties, were we, I mean, I understand obviously that's environmentally better, but did we do an evaluation of the properties to ensure that? Because I know part of this is also helping the tenants be able to better afford the utility costs, and a heat pump in Wisconsin is not necessarily always cheaper to run than a standard furnace and AC. So do we evaluate the properties for that to see how that would affect?
Do you want to take that one, or should I try and answer it based on what I heard at the Board of Public Works when this was asked? But my understanding is it's a dual source. Is that correct? So it could be gas or it could be electric, based upon which heating source cost is less. Is that correct? See, I do listen once in a while.
Very good. Yes. For all of the measures, when we did our energy assessments of each of these buildings, we looked at the anticipated reduction in energy costs and the anticipated reduction in CO2. So we used that as we ranked these and ultimately decided which of the measures we should move forward with. So there were some buildings where you could have put in a dual fuel, but it didn't rise to the same level of benefit, so it didn't make it to the final list.
Yeah, I guess I'm still a little unclear. So these are not a unit that can take either electricity or gas as a fuel. This is, we've got an electric heat pump and we've also got a gas furnace separately, right? And the gas furnace will be used in the cold months and the heat pump in the shoulder seasons?
Same unit, but the source will be able to change depending on the heating or cooling season.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a great question, though, because this is an affordable housing. So greenhouse gas emissions reductions, climate change impacts matter a lot, right? We care about that. But we are dealing with limited finances, and this is an affordable housing initiative. So if the money can go farther, I appreciate that you have to look at both considerations. And maybe you wouldn't choose like the ideal because you're trying to make your money go longer. I think it's important that's a part of the calculation because this is an affordable housing initiative. Do we, so what kind of, with the Efficiency Navigator programs that you've seen in other cities, Claire, because I think you guys have done this elsewhere, is that correct? Do you have a sense of like what the impact is on these residents? You know, do you have stories about what impact it has in terms of the reduction of their energy use and the increase in their quality of life?
Yeah, I'm going to start with quality of life, right? The comfort of being in your home, the drafting is gone, the loud noises are gone. We've heard from residents who said, the wall insulation was done, and the next day I noticed how much more comfortable it was to be in my home and how much quieter it was to be in my home. In terms of energy bills, around, I'd say $500 annually is probably like a good midpoint. Some of these buildings, maybe around $300. Some of these buildings, we've had buildings as much as $2,000 annually that have been reduced. So, kind of depends on what measures they are, but that's kind of the range. And that's annually. Multiply that over, the 20 or 30 years going forward. The other thing is air quality. We are checking for gas leaks after all the weatherization work that's required by Focus on Energy. I'd say about half of the time we do find that there are gas leaks in these buildings. So we take care of those as well as part of the care of the buildings.
And I will note too that we did have 2 change orders for buildings that they went in to put additional insulation in the attic and found that there was substantial water damage and mold. So all the mold was and insulation was removed. The property owner agreed to re-roof the building and we got to put insulation in there. So we are finding that it's a benefit to the quality of life as well. We wished we could implement our sprinkler idea, and that was another thing that we looked at because we could have maybe saved a couple lives in the last couple of years, but that's, something we're looking at as well. That was really important to staff as to, hopefully have some funding for adding sprinklers in our older buildings.
Great. Seeing Bill, one more.
Nope, you're done.
Oh.
Sorry, Adam didn't get this many questions, so.
So I'm just reading through one of the descriptions, and for one of the properties, it says there's going to be a Train 2-stage variable speed blower furnace, and then further down the line it says a Train XR15 air conditioner and heat pump. Is that different from the dual fuel heat pumps that were referenced earlier? Is it, or I'm still confused on some of those.
From how I understand it, essentially the heat pump replaces your air conditioner. So you still have a standard furnace, and the heat pump is essentially replacing your air conditioner. But it's not like the heat pump like you and I are thinking of, where it's you rip out everything and it's the single heat pump and it does everything over the whole course of the year. And like kind of your utility costs in the summer go down and your utility costs in the winter go up a little, but it's better for the environment. It's kind of like a supplement to the furnace. Please correct me if I'm entirely wrong.
Actually, I see that Leslie's on, and this might be a better question for her. She's with Elevate. Sorry to put you on the spot, Leslie.
No problem. It sounds like the question is, what is the dual fuel system? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, so the dual fuel system does describe a high efficiency Energy Star rated furnace combined with a heat pump. And the heat pump does do the majority of the cooling, well, all of the cooling, and the furnace does the majority of the heating. And that is for economic reasons. Natural gas costs less right now than electricity. So we don't want to increase anybody's utility cost. However, with this combined system, the heat pump could do the heating as well. If economics changed, solar was added, the furnace stopped working. So the heat pump can do the heating. We just wouldn't set it up that way so as not to increase utility costs. So the two pieces of equipment are working together, and that's what's called the dual fuel system.
Okay.
That clear things up a little bit?
I think so, yeah. Thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of resolution R 11725. Say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, everyone.
Great, thank you.
Moving on to next item, Resolution R. I need a motion on Resolution R 11825, amending the 2025 Park Fee Fund Budget, Hartung Park Development.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Alder Lettuce. Adam, back to you.
Thank you. This is a budget amendment, so this will take a two-thirds vote at the council. But this is to pay for some park concept design work that the Parks Department had completed, and then also put money into the budget for the implementation of the design, and then also engineering work to kind of engineer and design the project. So basically what we're doing is just funding this park through the park improvement fees and park in lieu of fees. And that money was not budgeted yet, so what we're doing is now budgeting that so it can be spent. At this time, we don't intend to build this park this year, just on staff capacity, especially mine. But it is a priority for us as development is happening in that area. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Micah.
This is the same. We saw the design for this a couple months ago, right? This is the one with kind of like the natural rock features, climbing, it's not, well, not natural, but.
That might be Castle Bar. Are you thinking of Castle Bar?
Okay, I'm trying to see what this is.
This is out at Hartung. This is off of Botanical.
Okay, all right.
But I think you're thinking of Castle Bar. Yeah.
So this is all built with park fees from the developer. We just want to have the money now rather than later.
We have the money. It just has not been budgeted through a CIP or budget. So what we're doing is now is just budgeting the money that we already have.
Okay.
Well, seeing no other questions, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R 11825, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Adam. Next, I'll need a motion on Resolution R 12525, approving renewal of antivirus software.
I'll move approval.
Motion approved by Alder Jetzer. Who's going to handle this one? Oh, Adam.
I'll take it. Why not? So this is to renew our antivirus software. This is a 3-year contract, so this is just to keep this junk and crud from hitting our system. It's a 3-year contract that locks in the price. So our IT director worked on this to kind of get this through. It's a direct referral because its timing is of essence here to make sure that we don't lapse in our protection. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that are not technical.
Bill, technical question, right?
This is a renewal of software we've been using for a number of years.
Yes, we're renewing what we have. We're happy with it. IT recommends we stick with it.
Okay.
Other questions? Seeing none, we can vote. All in favor of Resolution R 12525, say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks so much, Adam. Next item is resolution. I'll need a motion on Resolution R 12725, approving the contract with Haugen Excavating and Septic LLC for raising and removal of 9 vacant mobile home units at 2151 County Highway MM pursuant to a raise order.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Alder Lettuce. Chad?
Good evening again. We have, I think, last updated the Common Council a few months back in regards to the situation at the Country View Mobile Home Park at 2151 County Highway MM. The city building inspector, John Crook, at the time prior to his retirement, issued a raise order for 9 mobile home units at that park. That gave the property owner until June 27th to remove, aka or raise those particular units. The property owner failed to comply with that raise order. In addition to either removing or raising them, the property owner had the opportunity to contest that raise order in Dane County Circuit Court if they so desired. They did not pursue that avenue either. We have not had any engagement from the property owner of any substance related to the raise order, unfortunately. So what you have in front of you now is a contract to have a company come in and remove those particular units on the city's behalf. I know building inspection reached out to a handful of companies to obtain quotes. Unfortunately, I don't have that information directly in front of me, but what I believe is that this is either the lowest quoted price and or the most comprehensive, reasonable quote available. While we would prefer to spend nearly $75,000 of city funds elsewhere, we do think that it's appropriate for the health, safety, and overall well-being of this community to raise these particular units. And what we would intend to do is add the costs associated with this to the chronic nuisance declaration that's already been approved by the Common Council so that we can potentially recoup these costs at some other point in the future.
And that point might be if the property was ever sold, for example.
Correct. Yep.
That would be the most likely.
Yes, exactly.
So this isn't something we would add to their property tax bill at the end of the year?
We can add it, yes. However, that doesn't necessarily mean we will get compensated for that, since I believe the property owner is currently 4 years in arrears in property taxes with Dane County.
Was there lead and asbestos in the previous trailers that we raised?
I do not believe that there were. I know that in a conversation a few weeks ago with building inspection, I think there was a dollar amount within this particular quote that in the event there was asbestos located, that would obviously be factored into their estimate. But my recollection is that there were not any significant asbestos or lead concerns with the previous units that had been removed. Okay. Could that change with this one? Sure. I don't know when and where these were manufactured versus the other ones that had been removed.
Okay.
Curious why there's no budget amendment associated with this. Did we actually budget for this because we anticipated this might happen?
I'll defer to the finance director.
I'll take that one. So this isn't actually a city expenditure. We'll pay it and then we will bill it and then hopefully we get paid back. So it doesn't technically hit our budget, though there is a cash flow piece that the city will have to finance.
Awesome. Other questions? Seeing none, we can vote. All in favor of resolution R12725, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. That's the end of our action items. Next, item 7, announcements. Our next finance meeting will be August 12, 2025. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Moved by Alder Jetzer. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned at 6:09 p.m. Thank you.